So I've wanted to cover this knife for a little bit. I posted a video about this, I'd say about maybe a year or so ago. Up here, it was just a quick little, kind of a showing it off video. But this knife is the Paragon Warlock by Asheville Steel. Kind of an interesting piece. One of the most unique knife opening mechanisms ever, like period. I mean, this thing kind of trumps a balisong, which is my favorite opening mechanism for a knife. For starters here, let's just look at the aesthetics of this thing. It kind of looks like a coffin, okay? Let's not joke, it looks like a freaking coffin. You have this engraved sword shield thingy. Why the hell not? That's on both sides. It's a really symmetrical looking knife. You have a pocket clip. I don't really like the pocket clip because it does stick out of your pocket quite a bit. As you'll see later on, this isn't really a knife that you'd be carrying much. You have your buttons here, or your pivots, which those hold a special trick for a knife, and we'll get into that in a second. You have your markings right here, Paragon, Asheville Steel. Have your little, I believe it's a paragon. That's a bird, right? I don't know. And this side you have a little bit of texturing, a little bit of jimping there on both sides. Like I said, a really symmetrical looking knife, and that's for good reason, because this knife, when it's open, it's actually a dagger. It's a folding dagger. But the way you open it is kind of weird too. It's one of those trick knives, because when you look at it, you know, you're like, okay, you know, how do you open this up? I mean, you don't see a blade anywhere. The only really hint is a slight split in the side of the knife. The way you open this guy up is a pivot. What you do is you pinch on the pivot, and the knife opens up. It's like a clamshell. So you can see how that works there. It's actually two pieces. Focus, 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 dang it. See, it's like a clamshell design. I didn't really show you the front because you can actually see the blade here. Now from the front it actually looks like an OTF. So most people, I guess, they'd pick it up and they'd see that and be like, oh, it's an OTF, but there's no point there. It's just flat. You're like, what the hell is this? So basically what you do is you pinch this, it opens up the shell, and the blade just swings out. So with some practice, I mean, it's a pretty fluid opening mechanism. I'd say as fluid as a balisong, which I do just happen to have one of those here, the Benchmade 51. 51s, I guess, are a little bit more fluid. They're a little bit more fun and flashy to open, just because, you know, balisongs are balisongs. The Warlock is one of those things that when you show it to someone, they've never seen anything like this before in their life. Because to my knowledge, this is the only knife that actually opens up this way. Taking a look at the blade. See, I actually got the red coated one because why not? If you're getting a dagger, get something that looks completely sinister. It has that cross, or the sword pattern kind of drilled, or not drilled, milled into the blade on both sides. And this, what makes this knife really special, other than the red coating, is that it's actually double-edged. And it's actually one of the safest, or the only way to really carry a double-edged folder knife, period. Cold steel made a triple action, which kind of worked, not the same way, but it was a different type of opening mechanism, but that's long discontinued. I don't even know if these guys are still available. I think they are, but not 100% sure. Their triple action, that was a safe way to carry a double-edged knife. This is one of the only other ways, and I believe Hinder Knives makes a double-edged folder, but it's one of those where the handle is oversized, so you have to be careful folding it up. This guy, there's really no danger in the folding or the opening of it. It fits in your hand really well. It's a big knife. A little thick though. That's one of the issues with this knife, is that it's thick and it's heavy. Comparing it to Benchmade 51, you can see the thickness on that. I mean, the 51 is definitely thinner. It's definitely lighter. This guy has a big chunky aluminum handle, whereas, you know, something like, you know, the 51, it's obviously lighter. It's titanium and G10. It's not something I really carry around with me at all, just because A, well, it's big and chunky. 2, that double-edged knife. There's really no reason for a double-edged folder in day-to-day tasks. It's more of a self-defense type knife, and this opening mechanism doesn't lend itself well to being 100% reliable to open it up, just because it can get hung up sometimes. Like, I mean, well, when closing it, you know, you'll get hung up like that if you don't time it just right. Opening it up like there, it didn't open up completely. So there are some downsides to that. It's not that it's a bad knife. This is more of like a fun, showy type knife, in my opinion, other than like a knife you'd actually be using for hardcore EDC or, like, you know, a tactical defense. It's just kind of a nice show-off piece. If I remember correctly, there is a new version of it that has more of like a rock pattern. I guess almost like that, what's that stuff down there? A lava rock type pattern. It's more of like a organic type of looking, like it was just chipped out of a stone or something. in. And you can get these guys with blue colored blades, which, I mean, that's just awesome. I just went for the red because I thought it was kind of a cool look. Didn't have any red bladed knives. But I mean, overall, you know, you got yourself a sharp tip. Forgot to mention, USA made S30V steel. So you have a really, really good quality steel in this guy. And while we're here, let's just take a good look at that guy. I mean, look at that tip. That thing is sinister. I mean, just an awesome looking knife. I mean, it does look cool. It's just like a complete dagger. Like I said, one of the only folding daggers that you can have. I mean, symmetrical knives, there's just something about them that looks cool. But yeah, so that's just a quick little overview, sort of review. I don't know if you call these overviews or reviews. If you have a chance to pick one of these up, I say pick it up. It's a good collection piece. Definitely gonna wow anybody that you show this to. I don't know of anyone who wouldn't be wowed at this guy. I just remembered one more downside of it though. I just noticed this when I picked it up today to do the review. You can see in the finish there's some marring. That's just from it opening and closing and rubbing against the handle. If you're worried about your knives being really particular and, you know, if you don't like scratch or anything on them, this opening mechanism is probably going to disappoint you just because of that. It will scrape along the inside of that channel there. It's just something to keep in mind if you're a stickler about keeping your knives 100% pristine. You know, don't get this one. Or if you do, just be really careful. Oh yeah, Paragon Warlock. Buy it if you can. If you can't, just drool over this one. So I will see you next time. Go follow me on Instagram, because you should, because Instagram's awesome.